for the Yellow Jackets.
Georgia Tech, the number 8 seed. Only 8 scholarship players available. They have endured a very tough season in terms of injuries, but playing well at this time of the year. There's James up high on the wing. Cooper Flagg floating into the corner. Over the top, and Malawacz could not get the dunk to go. Back outside for Proctor, straight on, and he can't hit it. Malawacz tried to keep it alive with a tip, but back over to the Yellow Jackets.
You often see the Blue Devils come out with an opportunity for Malawacz at the rim. This time unable to finish it off, but establishing him early and that they're going to be a presence in the paint.
So keep an eye on kickball here on Nathan George, number 1 for the Yellow Jackets, one of the top assist men in the country. About 6.5 per game. He had 8 of them against Virginia yesterday.
And when you look at Nate George, he's going to be looking to get the basketball to the guy with the ball in his hands now, Ndongo, who has an advantage off the bounce, showing it early for the first possession offensively against Malawacz.
Boy, the 6'9" sophomore from Senegal, named 3rd team All ACC this week. Yesterday went for 16, 10, and also 4 blocks. He's a superb defender. Cooper Flagg with a touch to the paint. Outside for James, and he can't sink it.
And the advantage we always talk about, there's an advantage to having played the day before. Georgia Tech got a win yesterday over Virginia. They're used to the facility, they're used to the rims, and they have a comfort level of playing on this floor. Duke, this is their first opportunity. Oftentimes it takes the top 4 seeds a little more time to warm up.
Ndongo on the drive, and a block from behind by Malawacz. Going to get a second effort. Powell on the baseline, and will turn it over.
Ndongo doing a great job attacking Malawacz off the bounce, but the problem is he tries to go back to the right hand, bringing the basketball back to Malawacz. You've got to finish with the left hand, avoid the shot blocker, use that rim as a shield.
Malawacz all ACC honorable mention, 7-2. Knippel with the drive with the left hand, and Duke is on the board.
Knippel, more than just a shooter, has the ability to play off the bounce, get to the rim, finishing with that left hand, was something we'll see a lot of from he and Cooper Flagg throughout this game.
Jade Musoff, the freshman out of Maryland, bouncing here for Duncan Powell, went off for 21 against Virginia. Most of those in the paint. Malawacz again cleans it up. Hey, good luck getting inside.
Yeah, it's going to be tough when you consider you've got Malawacz sitting back there waiting for you. And that's one of the things that, you know, the Duke staff talked to their team about, is allowing Malawacz to be that defender on the backside, not fouling and bailing guys out when you know you got the big fella behind you.
7 to get up a shot here. Ndongo, a wild pass out high with 2 on the shot clock. Powell takes a look, and he can't sink it. Rebound batted around. It comes right back to Georgia Tech and Ndongo. Ndongo on Malawacz. That should be very entertaining today. Picks up the loose ball and a whistle with 5 on the shot clock, and Ndongo is down. And on his back, needing some help to rise. And a foul on Knippel will be his first. Take a look at the leg.
When you see the left ankle of Ndongo getting caught up underneath Knippel's body on that possession, fortunate to avoid a major injury, but a turnover on the underneath out of bounds play.
Proctor off a terrific fake. Flag around the back. Proctor lifts, and too strong.
But look at Knippel coming in from out of nowhere to come up with the offensive rebound.
Great movement. Another terrific fake. Knippel fakes again, and 2.
And you see the respect that Ndongo has as a shot blocker. However, Knippel, after the pump fake, getting into the body of Ndongo, not allowing him to jump to contest his shot.
Duke averaging 83 points a game, holding their opponents to 61. They are ranked as the most efficient offense in the country. George on the attack to the baseline. Here's Powell outside with a long one, and he'll stick the triple.
And Duncan Powell, who spent a tremendous amount of time with Bonzi Wells, of course, former NBA legend with the Portland Trailblazers, veteran, and he has really started to play like Bonzi. Bonzi's taking a lot of pride in getting him together. as David Stoudemire has taken a lot of pride in Nate George becoming the point guard that he has.
Georgia Tech got the turnover, could not convert on a close one by George and a misfire. Here's Flagg. A three off the front iron. Duke with another offensive rebound. Flagg again. 0 for 2. So a cool start for the Duke Blue Devils. Way downtown, George with a miss. Duke owns the second highest net in Ken Palm history as Proctor will lay that one in, averaging 12 points a game coming in. They lost him for a little more than a game earlier this season. You talk about Duke, it hasn't been all clean sailing all the time.
It has not, and this is another addition of this year's Blue Devils team. No Jay Lucas, associate head coach, with them at the ACC tournament as Nate George is able to get into the paint and score. So we've seen multiple Duke teams. We've seen the team without Malik Brown. We've watched the team without Mason Gillis. We saw them without Tyrese Proctor. And now Jay Lucas on the side. No Jay Lucas on the sideline. It's a different addition for this group.
That's a voice some of these guys are used to hearing in that huddle. Proctor too long.
Specifically that guy, Tyrese Proctor. He's been with them his entire career at Duke, 3 years. And now you consider that voice is no longer there. It's going to be different for Proctor, for Caleb Foster, for Sion James, the point guards who normally rely on Jay Lucas for their guidance.
Foster, Evans, and Brown getting ready to check into the game for Duke. And a basket. Count that. He'll be headed to the line as well. Bayandongo really active offensively early.
He was aggressive early yesterday, but now a much bigger task for Bayandongo, having to score over the reach of Malawach. However, he's successful for the bucket. An opportunity for and one when we return.
A trip down memory lane to the last time these two teams met each other in the ACC tournament, and Coach Shire was a big part of it. And when I asked him about it, he smiled and said, I do believe Cooper Flagg was 4 at the time, but what he could recall about the game is that it was not a great shooting performance for him from 3. He said when Coach K describes it, he says he was 0 for 18. He said the number grows every time he tells someone, but he does recall Nolan Smith playing with him, coming off of a screen, knocking down a 3 that essentially won them the game. At this point, Duke is 0 for 6 from 3. He said for Coach K, he remembers in spite of the slump, Coach K always believed in him, and that type of support is necessary. That's how he coaches, and you can see how he's coaching in that last huddle for these guys to get out of that slump on the 3.
That's absolutely how it's been for Jon Scheyer. In 3 years, he's had Tyrese Proctor, and we've watched Tyrese Proctor grow as a player throughout those 3 years, and he's pretty much taken on that type of relationship with Proctor. He's always believing in him for him to be the best version of himself that he could be. So when you think about that, Jon Scheyer learned a lot of those lessons himself as a player, culminating here, of course, in the ACC championship in 2010, as well as a national championship.
Knipple back out for Flagg. Trying to get around Powell, and a strong move using that window.
And that left hand also, we talked about it. He is one of the best when you think about getting to that left and then finishing using that opposite hand to avoid the shot blocker.
Flagg, the 19th Duke player to win ACC Player of the Year. That's a conference record.
But he had a chance, OB, to be the first person to ever win Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. Duncan Powell knocks down his second 3 and then daps up David Stoudemire along the sideline for good measure. I need David to get up off his knees. He don't have the best knees, OB. See, my issue is the hips. He's got the knee issues over there.
Boy, you two are great in the pickup game together.
Yeah.
No, we're not picking.
One set of hips and one set of knees between 2 bodies.
Knipple on George. Try to find Brown inside. That'll trickle off of Georgia Tech. We had a shot of the Duke bench there. We're talking about the coaches. Jay Lucas taking the Miami job, not there anymore. He did coach alongside Scheyer in the North Carolina game. but no longer. It's fascinating if that can have an effect in a game like today.
It really can, because when you consider the way that the Blue Devils have started this game, it's just different. You see Caleb Foster on the floor, who gave them very good minutes against North Carolina and didn't play the game prior against Wake Forest. So that's a voice that Caleb has been used to hearing throughout this entire year, encouraging him to be able to go out and perform at his best. But now Will Avery will take over that responsibility. And of course, Will Avery, a great point guard at Duke himself. So he's more than capable of doing so, but the difference in voices is always going to play a factor.
Well, Georgia Tech on top 13-8. Soiree got the foul for Georgia Tech moments ago. Caleb Foster into the contest. Knippel averaging 14. From the corner, Evans. Terrific three-point guy, but not this time. George wants to push the tempo every chance he gets.
And for the record, for those who are new viewers of the Blue Devils, if there are any, they're the best shooting team from three-point land in the ACC right now. 0 for 7, but they shoot 38% as a team on the year.
Travel. 4 turnovers for Georgia Tech. Keep an eye on that.
Duncan Powell with 2 made three-point field goals. The Blue Devils don't have one yet. And Damon Stoudemire has to be happy with the start that they've gotten here in the ACC tournament, taking that experience from yesterday and allowing that to build some momentum at the beginning of this one.
This is the coldest you and I have seen Duke early in a game all season. Flagg dumps it outside for Foster, and he misses another one. So just not falling. There's a lid on it for Duke early. 0 for 8. And George will slow it down. Outstanding player. ACC assist leader. And in the top 10 in the nation in assists per game.
And this is a mismatch here that Ndongo needs to take advantage of. However, he finds the hot guy. And Duncan Powell, whenever there's going to be a double team, there's going to be someone open. I'm not sure if that's the one you want to leave open. Duncan Powell continues his hot start here at the ACC tournament.
Well, he's been pressed into the starting lineup over the last month. Been one of the best 6 men in the conference. A whistle with 11:29 to go here in the first half, and Georgia Tech in front, 16-8.
A lot of respect between these two coaches. Happy to see each other. Both elite competitors. That love is gone now, OB. It's war between the lines.
By principal.
And when you consider the way that Duncan Powell relocates to the right spot, you see the double team coming. Well, really not much of a double team there. They just, guys are off the spot, but allowing Ndongo to deliver a strike to Powell on the opposite side is able to find the laces, knock down his third three-point field goal of the day. Experts at work. Not the Blue Devils defensively on that possession, getting caught in no man's land, allowing them to get screened off from the shooter.
And Duncan Powell, a 21-point game yesterday, off to a quick start today. He just finished second in voting for ACC 6th Man of the Year to Jeremiah Wilkinson of Cal. Man, what a game last night between Stanford and Cal. Stanford winning in the end, a very tight battle. A couple of great performances.
Yeah, Stojakovic playing great. No Wilkinson in that game for Cal. Stojakovic going for a career-high 37 points, almost getting his Cal team to a win. A little shorthanded against in the big game.
Maxime Reynaud, another big performance for Stanford. Cooper Flagg got it up there, but misfires in close. A loose ball, and Powell will collect it.
OB, look at all the gold jerseys. Every time Cooper Flagg goes to the basket, there's a crowd around him. And without the Blue Devils making threes right now, Georgia Tech is going to continue to flood the lane every time one of the Duke players tries to attack the rim.
Duke has gone scoreless for over 3 minutes. Ndongo for Sutton. He'll lift and sinks it. He knocks down a 3. How about this?
The Yellow Jackets 4 of 6 from beyond the arc. Duke yet to make one, and give Damon Stoudemire and his staff a tremendous amount of credit. They've come out with confidence after a win yesterday. They feel like they can take down the #1 team in the country.
Duke now 0 for 9 outside the three-point line. Here in the quarterfinal of the ACC tournament, Duke looking a little confused. Georgia Tech looking very confident. Terry off the window, no. Malawach yanking down the rebound. Duke needs somebody. James spinning into the lane, yes.
A much-needed bucket for the Blue Devils. Sion James attacking the rim, not allowing the defense to get set. So you don't see as many gold jerseys in the painted area when you attack.
Georgia Tech won the tournament here in Charlotte twice in 1990 and again in 1993. They beat Carolina in 93, Virginia in the 1990 season. Nate George with a miss, and Cooper Flagg with a board. He wants to go. And a backcourt foul as two players go down. Proctor hitting the deck, and he is on his back along with Ndongo. And they're going to get the big guy Ndongo for his first personal foul.
And both guys getting tangled up here on the way out. I would have liked to see a double foul on that one. If you're going to, I mean, you got to call something. So I appreciate the fact that there was call, but I think Proctor may have been just as guilty as Ndongo on that one. I think both guys really getting tangled up.
Sounded like a car crash.
Yeah, oh, it was a hard hit. Both of them hit the ground very hard on that possession.
Knipple, a feathery pass. Malawach with a little hook for two.
Nice touch by Malawach there, and also recognizing if he goes up, there's a chance that shot gets blocked with Ndongo coming behind him. The pump fake allows him to get his feet square and knock down the short jump hook.
So 19-12 coming up in the 9-minute mark. Gillis came in to interrupt that pass, and Knipple got shoved. The foul goes against the Yellow Jackets. Darian Sutton was there on the baseline. The foul goes against Lance Terry, and his first. And so Duke trying to turn the momentum. Georgia Tech 17-15, and after beating Virginia yesterday 66-60, they out-rebounded the Hoos 44-26 in that win. Proctor loses it. Ndongo bounces for Terry. He'll slam it.
And a great job by Ndongo getting his head up, seeing Terry sprinting right beside him. Normally the guy without the ball is going to be faster. Terry was able to get to the rim quickly and slam it home.
Knipple will lift. Boy, they can't buy a three-pointer. Malawach went for the save, but right back to the Yellow Jackets. Georgia Tech, the number 8 seed. But they upset Louisville. They upset Clemson. They're the only team in the ACC to beat both of those. Talking about the number 2 and the number 3 seed in this tournament. Tough catch there by Ndongo, and banks it in. What an outstanding move.
Obi, one thing I've got to mention, have we seen Malik Brown yet?
He has not come in the game.
And Malik Brown, who had a huge performance at Carolina, knocked down 2 threes, has yet to be in this game and spell from Malawach. You know, Brown was coming back from missing 4 games, and Sion James is going to pick up the foul.
And it will be Georgia Tech to take over. 7:38 to go, leading 23-12.
And Georgia Tech being the scrappy team to start this game. By Ndongo finding Lance Terry for the finish at the rim. And assistant coaches is a very important relationship in the game of college basketball. You see, as soon as Cooper Flagg comes out of the game, associate head coach Chris Carrawell, whose primary responsibility is working with Cooper Flagg, comes over immediately to have a conversation with him to talk about what has happened on the floor. Cooper Flagg 1 of 5 from the field right now, only 2 points, and more importantly, 0 free throws. When you consider the relationship between the two, all the other coaches have multiple players as a responsibility. Chris Carroll only has one. It will be the award winner, the National Player of the Year, Cooper Flagg, and he's done a tremendous job with him this season.
They have a very close relationship. We go to the practices, we see how before a walkthrough begins or a shoot around, Chris goes right there to Cooper. They work for like 30 minutes, just the two of them.
They really do, and I'm not sure that the outside world recognized how improved Cooper Flagg is from November the 4th till March the 13th. He has completely changed his game, and most importantly, his ability to play off the dribble and make plays for his team.
A Flagg off to a choppy start. Certainly Duke is. They're 0 for 10 beyond the three-point line. Powell's been hot, and a misfire here. It goes back over to Duke. Duke, the #1 three-point shooting team in the ACC, but they haven't hit one yet.
And when you also consider that Duke is the best defensive team in the ACC and one of the best defensive teams in the country, but Georgia Tech not at all fazed by shooting 53% from the field. Even after the miss by Duncan Powell, they're still shooting 50% from 3.
Flagg trying to take the baseline. Went for the dunk, and he's denied by Ndongo, who skied up for the rejection. And trying to turn that into points. Here's Terry, but no. Powell went for the save, and he's able to do it, deflecting it off Knipples.
And Obi, we've seen Ndongo do this time and time again. He's not afraid to challenge anyone at the rim. This time he wins the battle against Cooper Flagg, trying to go off the bounce. For the Blue Devils, it's do something other than shoot threes. Flagg trying to get to the rim and finish. Ndongo having no parts of that.
Ndongo, 3rd team All-ACC this week. #4 rebounder in the ACC. Had 4 blocks yesterday against Virginia. Just had himself a moment against Cooper Flagg. Gustav off the fake at the foul line. Shot clock's down to 1. Powell has to hustle. Rebound tipped and controlled by Duke.
But you look at the last 2 3-point field goals that Powell has had to take. They're rushed. They're at the end of the shot clock in comparison to the 3 good looks he was able to get prior.
I'm looking around the arena. The Duke fans are stunned right now. Knipple with another miss on a triple. They don't know how to react to this.
Well, I think they've never seen this before. With this group, they haven't seen this team struggle to shoot the ball. You're talking about a team that averages close to 11 3-point field goals made per game. And right now, they're 0 for 11.
Gustav will draw the foul. He'll be headed to the line. Back to that sensational block.
Well, I'm sure John Shire told his team, hey, don't settle for threes. Let's attack the basket. Cooper Flagg trying to do as his coach asked. However, Ndongo denying the opportunity. And when you block a shot with 2 hands, that's doing something. That's big time right there. But Ndongo going straight up, getting both hands on the basketball, denying the opportunity for Cooper Flagg at the rim.
I mean, it's a great block technique-wise and everything else, but it was against Cooper Flagg.
Well, I mean, that's it. Well, and Ndongo's seen the video. He's seen Dave O'Brien talking about, oh, my, after Cooper Flagg has dunked on people. But Ndongo up for the challenge, meets Cooper at the summit and wins that battle.
Let's go to Angel.
Corey, you were just mentioning how the Duke fans have not seen this team shoot this bad from the 3-point area this season. Well, they were 4 for 24 against Kentucky. Mind you, they've only been down 2 times this season at halftime, but they wind up winning both of those games. The turnaround is important, but to your point, Corey, this is the energy that you're seeing from the previous day for Georgia Tech, where they put up monstrous numbers together.
It really has been, Angel, and you also consider what they've done defensively. Still, Duke unable to get a 3 down, and even with Malik Brown in the game now, Duke is different offensively. They space it out, opening up the lane even more, but it still has had no effect for the Blue Devils on the offensive end. They're shooting 27.3% from the field.
You're right, though. Brown getting into the game. He missed 4, came back against North Carolina last weekend, hit 2 big threes. We had a long sit today.
He really did. He didn't play for the first 12.5 minutes of this game. John Shire normally gets him in earlier because of plays like this, getting deflections and the energy he brings from the defensive end of the floor.
George bodies up with him. Now goes by him on the drive. Scoop shot, and tipped up and in by Ndongo. Boy, he's everywhere.
He absolutely is everywhere. And this is the type of performance we saw for him with the double-double yesterday. And Malik Brown is hurt again, OB.
Wow.
Holding on to that same left shoulder that we saw him injure at Virginia.
And when we saw that play at Virginia, it was a non-contact play. That shoulder popped, and he is in agony. Anybody who's ever had a shoulder injury, it is incredibly painful. Wow. And this arena went silent fast as Malik Brown has to walk down the tunnel and heading for the locker room in agony. Georgia Tech, meanwhile, leading 26-12. Duke has gone scoreless now for 4.5 minutes. Biggest lead of the day here for Georgia Tech.
And it's simply just Nathan George running into the shoulder, and as Malik Brown sticks out that left shoulder to try to get back in defensively, it's very similar to what we saw at Virginia, just getting in the passing lane. There was contact on this one, but I had a teammate who was just inducted into the Hall of Fame by the name of Chauncey Billups, who dealt with the same issue early in his NBA career. He had to have both shoulders repaired and went on to have a great NBA career. But when you have those issues, it's difficult to be able to play basketball confidently and not think about your shoulder coming outside.
Meanwhile, credit Georgia Tech's defensive pressure and how energized they are. No easy shots. Here's flag and another miss from three-point land. That is the story. They're 0 for 13.
We've seen this before. When you in the quarterfinals, when you have a team that has a double bye and they don't get an opportunity to get in the arena and shoot and have their shoot around their practice on Monday like some of the other teams do, and then they're playing against a team that has played the day prior.
Musaf around and out. Flag trying to get inside, draws the foul before the shot with 3:56 to go in the first half. And what a story this has become. A look of concern there on the face of John Shire. You really haven't seen that much this year. It's all around the arena for the Duke fans. Ball brought to you by Principal. Let our expertise round out yours. And by Bill Burr, Drop Dead Years, the hilarious stand-up special. That premieres on March 14, streaming on Hulu. Duke 14 down, without a basket for 5.5 minutes. Their first double-digit deficit since they trailed NC State by 13, although they won that game 74-64. When they have been down by double digits, they're 3-1. But just moments ago, Malik Brown leaving the floor.
And OB, you see reaching in for the basketball, not much contact at all. And again, if you ask the Duke patrons, they'll tell you that being down isn't that big of a deal. Losing Malik Brown is a much bigger deal because you may not see him again this season after injuring that left shoulder for a second time.
Nice work by Knipple. Kept on digging and digging. He has 6. And Duke looking for somebody to start to make baskets.
And Duke now going to his zone defensively. This is often what they do with Patrick Gumba along the back line. And Gumba standing tall, coming up with a huge denial, the third block for the Blue Devils. The nice find from Nate George to Ndongo. But Patrick Gumba along the baseline ready.
Powell with a strong move, and it's Cooper Flag to say not this time. Here's Evans to line one up. And finally, Duke hits a triple.
And just like that, Damon Stoudemire recognizing the last thing that you need to happen in this building is to see Cooper Flag make a play defensively, coming from the blind side, denying the opportunity, and turning into a Showtime slim 3-ball here in his hometown. Ralph Flagg extremely excited. Grandfather Dan Bowman excited about Cooper Flagg's block on the last possession, and more importantly about Isaiah Evans' 3-ball off of the defensive stand by the Blue Devils. Step back in the zone once again. John Shire switching up his defenses to try to throw Georgia Tech off balance.
Outside, Mustaf got a really good look. Won't drop in for him.
Oh,
Cooper Flagg went down grabbing at his left ankle area as he went down after the rebound. Oh my. Gets up and needs help.
Obi, this just went from bad to worse for the Blue Devils when you consider you've already lost Malik Brown and Cooper Flagg needing assistance off the floor. And when you consider the height as to which he got that rebound, it landed on someone's foot.
So Cooper Flagg, the Player of the Year candidate, in pain on the bench. They've already lost Malik Brown to his shoulder. Again, George will swish in a triple.
And Nathan George taking advantage of the matchup with Patrick Gumba trying to guard him on the perimeter.
Knipple got inside and up and in for 2 by Gumba.
And Big Pat, who gained tremendous experience when Malik Brown has been out multiple times during this season, once with the sprained knee, once with the shoulder, is now stepping into the lineup and giving the Blue Devils big plays on both ends of the floor.
Into the corner, here's Powell. Rebound tipped out of play. It'll be Duke ball. 29-19. Take a look at his reaction. And in a lot of pain.
Obi, I've known this young man for a very long time, and he's as tough as they get. For him to come out, oh!
Gumba again.
Gumba giving Duke a lift, giving them that threat on the interior that you normally get with Cooper Flagg attacking the basket. Gumba doing it differently, but just as effective. But back to Cooper. For him to go sit down, he is truly in pain. You saw him jump up. He wanted to walk it off, but that ankle would not allow it to happen.
Powell banging underneath, went for the reverse, not there. Duke to push it. Long one coming and swished in again. It's Isaiah Evans.
We saw Jalen Withers do it yesterday, coming back to his hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. Isaiah Evans is back home, OB, and he's starting to heat up.
Ndongo turns and fires. No one defended him. He has 11 in the first half. His Flagg needs help to get off the floor. Heading for the locker room and a whistle with 41.3 to go in the first half. And that is a sight that makes Duke hearts drop all over the country. Man, did this place get some kind of quiet on this play. Look how high he was.
And then you consider how far he's coming down to land on the side of that left ankle. Painful to watch. And again, it doesn't get much tougher than this young man, OB, but it's hard to come back from a roll like that.
Goodness. Proctor at the line. And Duke has tightened it up 31-26. Sion James back on the floor now for John Shire. And Evans out. He's given him a nice lift off the bench, as he often does. The McDonald's All-American. Final seconds of the first half. A fascinating half it has been here in Charlotte, North Carolina in the ACC quarterfinals. Powell kicks it back out. Mustaf on the drive. Terry got airborne. James stuck right with him. Then he drives the baseline, and Gillis comes up with a loose ball.
And a strong stand by Gumba, denying that opportunity at the rim. Give Patrick Gumba a tremendous amount of credit. Come on, Malawatch with 2 fouls. Malik Brown out of the game. Gumba stepping up on the defensive end, offensively as well.
Duke, the #1 team in the country. How can they be stopped? Well, at the top of anybody's list, injuries.
Health is so important, when, especially if you're trying to make a run in March. Malik Brown, an extremely important member of this Duke Blue Devil team, re-aggravating that left shoulder injury, which we saw. And then Cooper Flagg, after grabbing the rebound, landing on that left ankle, immediately grasping at the ankle. And you can see, of course, tremendous concern on the faces of Ralph and Kelly Flagg, Cooper's parents. Rightfully so. But I can tell you one thing. They are most concerned about the Blue Devils winning this game. That is their #1 priority. They are all in Duke Blue.
Time for a last second shot. It'll be Evans back in and left it short. Georgia Tech with a rebound, and the Yellow Jackets own the first half. Although Duke did to salvage something outside. Here's Powell with a shot clock down to 7. Musaf deep in the corner, trying to get around the hip of Knipple, and blocked there by Malawatch.
With Malawatch on the floor, the Yellow Jackets continue to think about him every time they drive.
Open look there for Gillis, can't connect, and it'll go the other way.
Who's going to get that, OB?
That's not me unless I have two ladders, I think. 31-26. Let's go to Angel.
Well, guys, when I was able to catch up with Coach Shire, he said mainly that without Cooper Flagg and as well as Malik Brown, that is when they went on their run. They ended the half 12 on a 12-5 run, and he said that's an example of how defense has to spark our offense. You showed the block by Cooper Flagg, and you mentioned that's what we're going to miss the most, his help side defense. But at the end of the day, his message has always been focus on who's on the floor. We have to get stops. He felt they were way too tight on the offensive end and just playing more relaxed together.
Angel, and you know this very well, of course, after being on the court for so long. When one of your teammates goes down, you often play for that guy. And, of course, with the Blue Devils right now, they're playing not only for themselves, but for Cooper and Malik as well.
You're playing for 2 and a very popular assistant coach as well. So there's a lot of guys who aren't here for Duke right now. Starting to heat up. Knipple now at 9. They're within 2.
And now the Blue Devils have made 3 three-point field goals. And Angel, you had something else for them.
As they've made 3 three-pointers, that has been without Malik and Cooper Flagg on the floor. So when I was in the back, being able to listen in on their locker room, this is a team that sounded like they actually had a 10-point lead. They have not lost their enthusiasm. Coach Shire talked about the optimism that they had and at the focus that they need to play with in the second half.
And OB, one thing that can often happen with teams, and again, Cooper Flagg is a great teammate, and his teammates love him, but they also hear Cooper Flagg and Duke. They don't hear Duke. They hear Cooper Flagg and Duke.
Right.
So this is an opportunity for the Blue Devils, for Sion James, for Tyrese Proctor, Con Knipple, to prove that they're also great players and that this team can still be successful without Cooper, without Malik on the floor. And again, they're a much better team with those guys, but there's a lot of pride within this program where these guys want to show that they can get it done without the best player in the country.
Well, Flagg, the Duke scoring leader, rebounding leader, assist leader, but also steals and blocks. And wasn't it fascinating to hear Coach Shire say, we're going to miss him because of his defense, maybe more than anything.
Well, and that's one of the areas of concern. We've already seen it with Georgia Tech. When they attack the basket, they're looking for Kama Malawatch. Well, imagine when you've got both Cooper and Malawatch on the floor, you don't feel like there are ever going to be any easy opportunities, especially in the paint. We've seen Cooper Flagg already in the first half go up and deny an opportunity that led to a three-pointer by Isaiah Evans on the other end of the floor. So You can't replace his production, but guys can go out and give you even more heart, even more effort.
Yep. And don't look now, but Duke has tied the game. They were down by 14. And here come their fans in Charlotte.
But look at Tyrese Proctor picking up 94 feet. This is the first time we've seen this in this game. He wasn't doing that in the first half, but he's locked in even more, knowing he's got to do it without his brother.
Terry with a little fall away, can't stick that. And now Duke's trying to jump out in front. They've been trailing all day. Gillis straight on, around and out. And again, the three-point shooting continues to be an issue for the top three-point shooting team in the ACC.
Roof may have come off this building if he did knock that one down.
Not kidding. The pass will float out, and a whistle with 17:26 to go in the contest here in the quarterfinals. And a foul will go against Tyrese Proctor. Well, North Carolina's next. R.J. Davis about to take on Wake Forest, the 5-4 game in the quarterfinals. What is running through his head right now, having watched that first half and seen the injuries to Duke? They were hoping to be on a collision course with semifinals on Friday night.
He's thinking, I've got to continue to win to keep my career alive and to make sure I get an opportunity to play in the NCAA tournament.
Well, that's right. Right now, Joe Lunardi, our bracketologist, has them in the tournament. On the switch yesterday after a big win. Around and out, Knipple with the board. And another opportunity for Duke to take the lead. Last time they led it was 6-5. Here it comes from James. Got it! Duke by 3.
Sion James, another one of the leaders of this team, stepping up in the absence of two of his teammates, knocking down a huge three. And James also was an all-defensive team member this year, though, getting the stop.
Dongo going down, trying to get that to a teammate. Sutton couldn't handle it. Kick back over to Duke, leading 34-31. Without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown. A block by Powell, but it comes free to Gillis. Here's Proctor. In the corner, James again. Knipple flying in for the rebound.
Smart play by Knipple. Nothing going. Get it back out. Run offense. Force Georgia Tech to have to guard you longer on the possession.
Proctor. Nifty dribble. Can't stick it. Back up again. No. The follow is up and in by Malawach. And Duke since halftime on a 10-0 run. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal. Let our expertise round out yours. You know, synonymous under Coach K, Duke basketball, is that first 4 minutes of the next half. And Duke would put that hammer down. That's exactly, Corey, what they're doing right now to Georgia Tech.
And it doesn't matter if it's at Cameron Indoor Stadium, if it's at Madison Square Garden, or if it's at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. And you will see that from the Blue Devils. That's absolutely how they started this second half. After going down 5 points into the halftime locker room, it's been a 10-0 run for the Blue Devils to start the second half. Damon Stoudemire concerned as to where he's going to get scoring against this Duke Blue Devil team.
And a pick by Proctor. And will slam it down. And Duke continues to roll 38-31. This is their biggest lead today in this quarterfinal. The Yellow Jackets need a hot hand. Terry averages 15 a game. Working on Proctor, who goes down on the seat of his pants, but a bad misfire. And it'll be kicked out off of Duke with 15:09 left.
Tyrese Proctor making plays. Doing the job defensively, coming up with the steal. Also the highlight to give his team a 7-point lead.
Welcome back. Well, before the break, we saw Cooper Flagg, who was wheeled to a room for x-rays. Good news here that he is able to walk on his own. Coming back to the floor, this is back in the tunnel where he was getting looked at for his ankle. Yes, Duke is on a 12-0 run, but the fans in this building were cheering for him, walking all the way back to the bench. He's officially ruled out today because of the ankle, but to see him on the floor, Corey, you mentioned how tough this guy is. He wants to be here for his team and hopeful for what goes on moving past this game.
He absolutely is, Angel, and even more encouraging watching him walk out. No boot.
Without a boot.
Without a boot. He's got on his, of course, his Think Pink Kobe 6s. And so when you look at that, that is an encouraging sign. No boot on. I'm sure that there will be a tremendous amount of rehab and ice, etc. But normally, if there is structural damage, you would be in a boot or even worse, a cast.
But without him, Duke has surged into the lead. They're making some shots. They're on top 38-33 without him and Malik Brown also out of the game and will not return. An errant pass. Proctor went for the save. What a save at midcourt.
This really is a moment for Tyrese Proctor to step up, and he has absolutely done so for the Blue Devils here to start this second half off on that three. But you can see he has an extra bounce to his step, knowing that he has to take over that leadership role with Flagg off the floor.
George can't hit. He's run cold. And if you missed it, we will show you the injury to Cooper Flagg a little earlier. The alley-oop doesn't get there, but Proctor picks it off. And again, it's James. Too strong, and a whistle in the paint. Let's go back to him injuring the ankle, getting really high up there for that, so he had a long way to come down. in tremendous pain.
And having to get helped off the floor, that was the concerning spot. Seeing him in the wheelchair, going to get an x-ray, normally that's the thought process, but this is the encouraging sign. Seeing him out sitting on the bench with both shoes on. Obi, I've been back in that locker room and getting x-rayed before. I didn't come back out with shoes on.
Con Knipple with a miss. Usually when flag is out because of foul trouble or something else, they lean on Knipple.
They lean on Knipple for scoring, but you need Tyrese Proctor and Sion James to be the playmakers. Also another guy on the floor right now, Isaiah Evans. They leaned on him in the first half. He knocked down the 2 threes for Duke in that first session.
Instant offense. Powell trying to go through him, and he does as he banks it in for 11 points.
This is the area, honestly, where you miss Cooper Flagg the most. Even though he's the ACC Player of the Year, and a lot of it because of what he did on the offensive end, you miss him defensively even more than you do offensively. That doesn't happen if you've got Cooper Flagg defending Duncan Powell.
Boy, 3 men went down at once as Powell went bowling inside, 38-35. When you're back there and you had ankle problems, so you got taped up a lot, you had a lot of ankle injuries, you had attended to a lot. Are you watching the game and paying strict attention to it?
You're absolutely listening, you're hearing, and you hear the crowd roaring, especially at the beginning of the second half when your team is getting back into the mix. You're wanting to get back there on the floor with your guys, but if you can't play, you want to make sure you're on the bench, encouraging and doing anything you can to help your team win.
In for Evans, instant offense for the 6'6" freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina. 41-35, Duke finding their range from three-point land.
Yeah, Duke will be fine. They won't be as good. So I don't want anyone to think that they'll be as good offensively without Cooper Flagg, but they'll be fine.
Powell from the corner, drains it.
This is the end of the floor where Cooper Flagg will be missed the most. His rotations, his ability to be able to close out and guard off the bounce, as well as deny opportunities at the rim.
14 for Duncan Powell, coming up 21 against Virginia yesterday. Inside, and a layup and in by Gungba.
And Gungba continues to give the Blue Devils great minutes offensively. Shocked to see John Shire going man-to-man right now with Gungba on the floor. Normally, this is where he plays zone when you put Patrick Gungba in the game.
Longo set the screen out for Terry, who's been really quiet for a couple of days here. He wants to heat up. His bucket gives him 4. And Duke by 3, under 12 minutes to play here in Charlotte. The winner to advance to the semifinals tomorrow. Evans on the attack off the window for 2.
And Isaiah Evans has a reputation of just being a shooter, almost a hired gun. He has much more to his game. You're talking about a McDonald's All-American, elite scorer, and showing off a little bit more what's in his bag on the last possession.
It's 6 threes against Auburn in that victory in December. Absolutely on fire. Shot clock to 10. George on the drive, slams on the brakes. And Ndongo, no. Here's Knipple. Yes! A triple on the money. He has 12 points.
And when you try to shortcut the screen, you often get burned.
Timeout. At 11 minutes to go, and Duke has built an 8-point lead after trailing by as many as 14.
Cooper Flagg unavailable to help his team on the court, however, still supporting from the sideline. It's all about the brotherhood here in Charlotte. Country's best in the Houston Cougars. Kelvin Sampson trying to win a Big 12 tournament. And they take his team to the Final Four and possibly a national championship, which is the only thing missing from his Hall of Fame resume.
Duke Blue Devils were down 14 in the first half, 5 at halftime, their largest deficit of the year. They are without Cooper Flagg and Malik Brown the rest of the game because of injury. And yet they lead by 8 against Georgia Tech, trying to spring the upset. But they need a comeback. They need a hot hand. Mustaf on the dribble, almost lost it. Shot clock to 5. Terry outside. Terry on the crossover dribble, and yes.
That was a much-needed bucket for the Yellow Jackets, not only to get them closer to the Blue Devils, but also to get Lance Terry feeling good about things. His first three-point field goal of the game, 1 for 10 yesterday, and he's the leading scorer for Georgia Tech.
Gungba has it knocked away, and a foul. And Soiree down, the 6'9" freshman took a shot. 48-43 at the 10:22 mark. And take a look at this one as Gungba went into him, caught him with that elbow.
Yeah, the elbow coming down afterwards, and that may have our officials going over to the monitor. Ted Valentine, Tony Henderson, and Jarrell Spearman will have to go check this one out. As you see Gungba going up, this is all basketball, but the coming down part, this could be upgraded. It could still be a foul on Soiree, but this absolutely could be upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul on Gungba. I don't know that that's a natural follow through on the shot.
And a freshman up with a towel on the face. He took a nasty shot. I'll tell you what, this floor is not for the meek of heart today.
It absolutely is not.
As they'll have to clean up some blood.
That's a tough hit.
This quarterfinal round of the ACC tournament, very physical. And Soiree has to head for the training room as well, and Duke's got to work out in the first half, and now it'll be Georgia Tech.
And the officials did go over and look. They're not going to come away with anything additional. After that, just a common foul. There will be no upgrade on that one.
So the foul is on Soiree, the man who just left bleeding.
Yes, and again, when you take a hit like that, I'm honestly a little shocked that they didn't come away with anything today, simply because it was after the play, the whistle had already blown. And again, Patrick Gungba's not a dirty player in any way whatsoever, but whenever you have contact as such, you would think that you possibly will have some type of upgrade on that.
Well, got a legend in the house, another one, and the great Roy Williams. Game 2 coming up. North Carolina, the winner of this one, advancing to the semifinals on Friday. North Carolina taking on Wake Forest. So we look forward to that one on ESPN as well. George with a pull-up. No, well short.
But look at what Duke's defense has done in the second half. They have bottled up Georgia Tech, not allowing them to get the driving lanes that they saw early. As Dongo does a great job three-quarter fronting and coming away with the steal.
George trying to feed inside, but a foul first. And again, if you're just tuning in, Cooper Flagg went up high for a rebound, turned his ankle, went down in a lot of pain, needed help coming off the floor. This was all in the first half. He was in a wheelchair going to the X-ray room down the tunnel, but he did return, not in a boot. A great sign for Duke, but he won't play the rest of the day, nor will Malik Brown, who missed games because of a shoulder injury, and he re-injured that today in the first half. They are both out for the rest of this one. Cross court, Powell, who's been a dangerous man in this tournament, taking on Knipple one-on-one. Looking for the pass, and he threw it away. They've turned it over 9 times.
But Powell not recognizing Kamamalawatch is not on the floor. Cooper Flagg not on the floor. That's one you've got to get up on the rim. He was trying to avoid taking the shot because of the threat of shot blockers. Patrick Gungba not as much of a shot blocker as you see with Malawatch and Flagg. and forcing the turnover. Damon Stoudemire struggling to figure out how he's going to be able to put points on the board. He told our Angel Gray at the beginning of the game, we're going to have to score to beat the Blue Devils. But the Blue Devils have absolutely stifled Georgia Tech here in the second half.
Hey, coming up tonight on ACC Network at 11:30 Eastern, or after the final quarterfinal matchup, the Nothing But Net crew will have a complete breakdown of the whole day with highlights, analysis, interviews, and more. And take a big look at tomorrow's semifinals here at the Spectrum Center. And we look forward to game 2 coming up. Wake Forest and North Carolina. How you seeing that breakdown?
I think that's going to be a battle, especially when you consider that you've got 2 guys who were first-team All-ACC a season ago, and Hunter Salas returns as a first-team All-ACC member. But last season's ACC Player of the Year, R.J. Davis, going at it. And this could be the final game of one of their careers. And so when you think about, I think both teams are going to leave everything on the floor in a huge matchup between the 4 and 5 seed in our second game this afternoon.
Kalen Foster getting some more minutes here in the second half. He will feed Evans straight on, but that won't fall.
Great look, great execution, just unable to get it to go down. But those are the type of shots you want if you're Duke, to get Evans in space, allow him to be able to operate offensively.
Mustaf goes down. Knipple trying to guard him. Still spinning and spinning in a tie-up. Possession error will take it the other way. So it'll be Duke ball with 8:47 to go.
Isaiah Evans knocked down the first 2 3-point field goals of the game for the Blue Devils, also showing off his ability to get to the basket. When Duke was struggling from 3, Evans came in, knocked down their first 2, and he is letting them know, this is my city. I am from here, and I've got family and friends in the building, and I am going to give you a show, because that's the only reason they call him Showtime Slim, OB.
Much like Jalen Withers, I mean, for North Carolina.
Yes.
Lighten up as a Charlotte guy. One triple after another. Malawatch with the slam as Knipple alley-ooped him.
And those 2 guys tried to connect on the first possession of the game for an alley-oop. It was unsuccessful. This time, Malawatch able to finish above Dongo.
A lot of people felt that Con Knipple should have been first team All-ACC. He was second team as the voting came out. And Dongo blowing by and no on the slam. He's had a very different second half. Here comes Evans. Wide open to nail it. He has 14. And all of a sudden, Duke in front 54-43, their biggest lead. Mustaf trying to answer. He can't. Proctor with the board. He's going to push it. Knipple lines one up. I think the roof would have come off.
It absolutely would if Knipple knocks that one down. Of course, you're going to always have a strong Duke contingent in any arena you go to, but especially when you're in the state of North Carolina.
Terry needs to heat up fast, but that won't fall. He's had a very chilly tournament. Malawatch. He'll draw the foul. Trying to contain the big guy. Georgia Tech commits the personal.
Well, you don't have the best freshman. However, you still got some pretty good ones. Con Knipple, Common Malawatch connecting for an alley-oops upside your head.
Dallin, Tom, Josh, thank you very much. 8-0 run for Duke. And in the second half, they have outscored Georgia Tech 28-12, and again, without Cooper Flagg.
And when you consider the defensive effort, Georgia Tech 0 for 5. They've shot 26.3% in this second half. Only 2 of 7 for 3. So Duke has turned the effort up on both ends of the floor. And oftentimes, when your defense gets going, it helps you on the offensive end of the floor.
It says an awful lot about the makeup of this Duke team. Knipple outside for Evans. The step, the fire. Doesn't miss many of those. 7 minutes to go. Georgia Tech looking for another big run. They had several in the first half. Ndongo got it to Terry. Terry with the kick for Ndongo. Another missed slam, but a foul this time.
But you get the benefit of the doubt when you try to dunk it. That time he tries to hammer it home with the left hand. If he lays that up, first off, Kama Malawash is going to smash it against the glass. But by Ndongo trying to finish strong, he's able to get an opportunity at the free throw line to put points on the board.
James with the personal. And 2 shots coming. Ndongo, 3rd-team All-ACC. Had 12 double-doubles this season. He had 4 games of at least 20 and 10. In his sophomore year, starting to become a star in Atlanta. And we have you covered on Selection Sunday once again. 6 o'clock Eastern, Sports Center. Reese and the guys looking at the men's field, followed by bracketology. And at 8, the women's field of 68 revealed with bracketology and a complete breakdown at 9 Eastern on ESPN2. Ndongo's second. His first points of the second half. That's a major story. Duke, of course, by Lenardi and company, a projected #1 seed. North Carolina on this floor next.
Georgia Tech now going to the zone defensively. Gotta imagine they had a hard-fought win yesterday against Virginia.
Oh, Knipple again.
But great execution by the Blue Devils against the zone. And it was everyone, Justin Robinson, Chris Carroll, Josh Dyer, everyone was up, pointing to spots where they wanted them to go. The 6th assist for Knipple.
George with a spin, another short one. Knipple and Malawach. And once again, racing to the other end to play defense. By Ndongo at the block. Terry, a quick strike, and he'll be at the line looking for a 3-point play.
And Damon Stoudemire still trying to figure out how they were able to penetrate against the zone. I believe Ndongo had a little help on this block. I think the rim actually got it first, but Lance Terry attacking one-on-one, able to finish against Sion James in transition.
Ndongo 6 blocks in the tournament. 2 more today. 56-47 Duke. But Terry at the line, he makes 72%.
Ndongo averaged a double-double in ACC play, OB. He really got so much better as the season went along. And part of the reason why Georgia Tech has won 9 of their last 13 games.
Malawach off for Proctor. Proctor jumping in the paint. The tip really well done by Sion James.
And very few teams have a point guard at 6'6", and who knows what he weighs, but we know he's stronger than pretty much everyone on the floor. And Sion James that can get inside the defense and tip in the missed opportunity.
Yeah, shoots over 50%, makes his threes, and doesn't turn the ball over. Powell's been kind of quiet as of late, starting to heat up again with a 3-pointer.
And Georgia Tech's going to need much more of that down the stretch. Duncan Powell, who was the hero yesterday for the Yellow Jackets, coming up with a big bucket to get the lead back to 8.
5 minutes to go in Charlotte. Knipple threading inside, banks it in, he'll go to the line. He's had a really nice couple of series here. And with Flag on the bench, once again, Knipple showing up.
But you like Con Knipple being aggressive, getting downhill, attacking off the bounce, not just relying on his jump shot. As we see his mom, Sherry, who was a great scorer herself, checking out her baby boy doing his work.
Her baby boy at 6'7". Named to the ACC All-Rookie team, 2nd team All-ACC, 14 points a game, and #2 in minutes for Duke behind Cooper Flag. So it's Duke on top, 61-50. Mustaf penetrating, a block and a foul too. And Mustaf is down and grimacing, but back on his feet. A foul on Malawach will be his third.
Gustav attacking. You see that left ankle turn on the foot of Malawach. Fortunately, able to get up, walk it off.
Gustav started 7 or 8 games early in the year, then missed half a dozen with a foot injury. Freshman from Maryland will shoot 2.
Young man has a lot of promise. Damon Stoudemire very high on Gustav. Feels as though he will be a great player. As you see him turn that left ankle, feels as though he'll be a great player in that Georgia Tech uniform. Which, of course, if you wear the number 3 at Georgia Tech, you have to be a great player. The lineage of that uniform and that number.
Knippel looking to break free. On the drive, and it spins in.
Con Knippel taking over here in this second half.
17.
And doing it, attacking the rim. Not normally the guy that puts the pressure on defenses by getting into the paint. That's normally Cooper Flagg's job.
Buried by Powell as he has sprung to life again. 21 yesterday, 20 today.
Duncan Powell trying to keep the Yellow Jackets in it. But they're going to have to find a way to get stops and possibly keep the basketball out of the hands of Con Knippel, who's had success here in this second half.
Under 4 minutes to go in Charlotte. Knippel and a slam by Malawach. They are a dynamic duo, those two.
They absolutely are. These two have connected on a number of beautiful feeds throughout this second half, as Con Knippel get the job done attacking the rim.
Well, this could have been a nightmare today with Cooper Flagg, the best player in the country, having to depart. He was in a wheelchair for a while, but man, has his team come back to life, down 14 without him, and yet they have rallied. Go ahead and sit out, Coop. Relax. College basketball is brought to you by T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence on what has been a beautiful week here in Charlotte. Champ Week, ACC Tournament here at the Spectrum Center. A look at our bracket, and still to come, Wake Forest and North Carolina, the 4-5 game later on tonight. The other top 4 seeds, Louisville and Clemson, finally get into the tournament.
And when you consider that the top seeds beat each other throughout this year, the only team to beat those top seeds was this Georgia Tech team. Duke beat Louisville, Louisville beat Clemson, Clemson beat Duke. So you have an opportunity to see the best in the league get together here, possibly in the semifinals, but their first mention here in the quarterfinals.
So far, I hope you brought your chalk to Charlotte. Terry on the drive, and Knippel got a hand on it. He's had a big game.
He really has.
17 points, 11 of those since halftime. 5 rebounds, 7 assists.
I think the 7 assists is the most telling sign of how aggressive he's been, because you've had to pay so much attention to him. He's been able to find Malawach and his teammates and connect with them on a number of buckets.
Yeah, those two have been dynamic. 5 to get off a shot. Knippel working on Ndongo. He slips, got it up there, didn't touch anything, so it's a shot clock violation.
And Damon Stoudemire wanting a double dribble on that possession, having a conversation with Teddy Valentine on the sideline, but ends up being a shot clock violation regardless the turnover. And right now it's time. The Yellow Jackets, time is not on their side. They're going to have to find a way to make a push, and quickly.
George got it up there and hits a 3. That's one way to do it.
That's how you do it. It doesn't get much quicker than that, OB. And not only do you get a bucket, it gives you an opportunity to set up your full court pressure.
Off the press into Knippel. And they peel it away with 2:25 to play. And another whistle. The first half was owned by Georgia Tech, and they had Duke Nation pretty upset because they were down, Duke was, by as many as 14 points, and then they lost the best player in the country. And before that, they lost their second best defender in Malik Brown. They've been able to overcome that, but Malik Brown and Cooper Flagg out of the ball game. 1-1 time for Knipple.
Still tremendous concern for the Blue Devils. However, they feel a little better with the way Con Knipple has played an all-around game throughout this one, now up to 18 points. His playmaking, distributing, but the Duke defense has been back in the second half. They didn't see that in the first half, and a lot of it had to do with the fact that their offense was struggling.
2 more for Knipple, up to 19 points. 4th player for Duke in the last 15 seasons with this kind of a game in the ACC tournament. In and out on a shot by Powell. Man, that was in the cylinder.
He was already running back. That felt good to him. Thought he had knocked down another 3. Only to watch it rim out.
2 minutes to go. Quite a comeback for Duke today. We haven't said that many times this year. Proctor on the drive. He goes down looking for a foul. No whistle. George wants to get it to Terry quickly. The kick out. Powell is open, and he missed another one. He chases down his own misfire. And Dongo with a dribble down and a whistle with 1:37 to go. And time running short for Georgia Tech, the number 8 seed. 1:37 on the clock. And so that'll put Terry at the line. The foul on Mason Gillis will be his first. I should say not a shooting foul. George will check it in. And Ndongo, who's been impressive here in this tournament. Sutton is open. Yes, a 3 on target.
And that's been 2 threes that the Yellow Jackets have been able to make in the last couple of minutes. So they're actually getting some opportunities. Got it down to 6, but they're going to have to find a way to get stops.
1:10 to go. Duke using the clock. Knipple's fouled over the back by Sutton, who picks up his second. 1:06 to go, and it will be a 1-and-1.
And you don't necessarily mind the foul because you don't allow the Blue Devils to kill more clock. The problem is you're sending their best free throw shooter to the line, and Con Knipple.
Yeah, 91%. 3 for 3 today. 19 points and counting for the freshman out of Milwaukee.
And I don't believe it was a possession that Damon Stoudemire wanted to foul. He was looking to try to see if they could get a stop. Still more than enough time to be able to get multiple possessions. But if you were going to foul, there were other people that you would have chosen. You would have fouled Sion James with the ball at half court.
He makes the pair for 21 points. 69-61. George lost it. Knipple scoops. Malawaj slams it down. Duke by 10 again. Emphatically. Terry getting down and tied up. Possession arrow will keep it on this end for Georgia Tech. But you talk about weathering a storm today. That's what Duke has done.
They really have. And Nate George just loses the basketball. Con Knipple keeping his head up, allowing Kama Malawaj to show off his ball handling skills in the open floor. And then, of course, get up on the rim.
Knipple, the biggest star today with 21 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds. So a standout performance for him in the quarterfinals. George getting it off for Terry. And that one rattles in from three-point land. So the Yellow Jackets continue to fight with 37 seconds to go. There's no quit in them.
And this is what they've done all season long. They continue to fight regardless of the opponent. And the guys giving every bit of effort they have, just haven't been able to get the job done on the offensive end. David Stoudemire told us pregame they're going to have to score to beat Duke. 64 points, not enough when you're going up against the best offensive and defensive team in the league.
Still to come, North Carolina and Wake Forest due to start at 2:30 today, our next quarterfinal.
And we go to our dynamic play of the game, brought to you by T. Rowe Price. It is Con Knipple who has been the man with a plan in the second half for the Blue Devils, coming up with the steal, kicking it ahead to his fellow freshman, Kama Malawach, who drops the hammer to give the Blue Devils a 10-point lead late in this second half.
Knipple with the 21-15 since halftime. And remembering that it looked pretty bad for Duke at that point. They had their largest halftime deficit of the season. They were without Cooper Flagg and without Malik Brown. And since that point, they have played their best basketball of the day.
They really have. Got off to a very rusty start. You could see that the Blue Devils had not played on this floor, and the Yellow Jackets had. They had game experience under their belt. However, Duke starting to loosen up later in that first half. Isaiah Evans coming in, knocking down a couple threes.
He's got that nothing easy jersey on. Boy, that's apropos. The day they've had, the day he's had. And we shall see if he'll be available in the next round should Duke hang on and win this one, leading 71-64.
Even if he is OB, I'm not playing him.
You're not playing him no matter what.
He's not playing. He's not playing anymore in Charlotte. He's got to sit, because at the end of the day, when you consider what the goal is, again, John Shires won an ACC Tournament Championship already in his 3 years. He did that in his first year. You have enough with this team without Cooper Flagg to try to win an ACC Tournament Championship. I'm going to take my chances with the Blue Devils and trying to win without Cooper Flagg and see if we can win a national championship with a healthy Cooper Flagg.
Now Carolina, and of course, Duke's hated rival, waiting in the wings.
Hate is such a strong word.
It's appropriate.
It's
you know
true.
It is.
It's true, but it's just such a strong
In fact,
word.
I think it's a little light to describe that rivalry between the two.
It is.
Just a little light. Knipple 22 and come. And of course, if they do clash, and North Carolina's got to get by Wake Forest, the number 4 seed, but if they do clash in the semifinals, Duke will be trying to beat them for the 3rd time this season. That's very tough to do.
I've heard that. However, I got smacked by North Carolina in '93 twice in the regular season, and then they beat us again in the ACC tournament here in Charlotte. So it wasn't that difficult for the Tar Heels that year. The Tar Heel team did go on to win a national championship, so I shouldn't feel too bad about it.
They're awfully good. 25.7 to go. 73-66. And 2 shots coming here for the Duke Blue Devils, trying to salt this one away at the foul line in the quarterfinal round. Duke very smart, getting the basketball every time to the best foul shooter on the floor. And for Damon Stoudemire, a couple of really nice wins this season. Upsetting number 21 Louisville and top 25 Clemson in that wild triple overtime game. So it had some really nice moments.
They absolutely did. They dealt with more injuries probably than anyone in the league throughout this year. Damon felt really good about his team coming into the season. Finished the majority of this season with 6 to 7 scholarship players available. But when you look at the star stories for the Blue Devils this afternoon, it was the freshman that stepped up, and not the freshman that you would expect.
Right.
But three freshmen for the Blue Devils with 24 and 14 points respectively.
Knipple again, and once again they'll foul him. With 14.2 to go. Duke on the edge of their 29th win of the season. Duke owning the 2nd highest net rating in KenPom history. Only the '98 Duke team was higher. And Knipple to shoot 2 again. And he has been Duke's brightest star today, with Cooper Flagg unavailable for a huge chunk because of the ankle injury.
Con Knipple tying his career high. Obi, we saw him go for his career high 25 points against Miami. So with this free throw, no jinx. He has now set a new career high in his first ACC tournament game.
Final seconds. Powell on the move against James, and he'll bank it in. 6-point game, 6.7. And it'll be James inbound, looking for Knipple again. And they get it to him, and another foul with 5.8 seconds to play. And can put this one out of reach at the line. 26 points, 20 in the second half, along with 8 assists and 5 rebounds. And he's played 39 minutes.
Yeah, he's had to carry a heavy load offensively for the Blue Devils without Cooper Flagg in this one, and has been up to the challenge as he continues to salt this game away at the free throw line. Great execution by the Blue Devils, by the way, getting the basketball in the hands of their best free throw shooter. And Con Knipple has taken care of business down the stretch.
Well, we thought Georgia Tech was a dark horse, but about to be eliminated from the ACC tournament. They gave Duke quite a scare in the first half after winning yesterday. But today, Duke overcomes. And it was a long afternoon, but they win it 78-70. Very serious injury concerns, but Duke moves on to the semifinals.